welcome to RY. It's nice to see a lot of you when you could be out watching Doctor Strange tonight. So I appreciate all y'all being here. I watched it last night. I won't give you my thoughts or comments because if you are going to watch it, you go watch it. Enjoy it. But thank you for being here because you could be there. So I appreciate it. But we are starting a new series this month. It's called, it's actually not called that. That's actually this week's title, but it's called The Devil Be Lying. But we're going to spend this month talking about who the devil is, what he's about, how he exists, all that kind of stuff like that. Is he real? All of that kind of stuff. So it's going to be a little bit of a different month than normal. I'm probably going to be a little bit more teaching than kind of like preaching and kind of getting in your business. So everyone just say, oh, thank God, this guy's is not coming for me. Okay, so everyone just take a deep breath. All right, in and out, okay? So I'm not coming for you. Now, if Jesus decides to come for you, that's a different story, but I will probably do my best to not come for you. Oh, thank you, sir. And there's a spider on here. Let's flick that off. Perfect. So it's going to be a little bit of a different month, but I hope you get a lot out of it. I hope that it helps you understand your faith, understand who the devil is, what he's about, and all that different things. And so I'm really excited about starting that. So I wanted to kind of start this series on who the devil is. Just kind of like, let's just kind of start right there. So when I say the devil, what are the things that pops into your mind? Okay. Let's just throw your hands up, okay? Throw your hands up. That helps me. Martin. Temptation, okay? Bree, you said something. Lucifer, okay. Anyone else? Brain. Hellboy. Okay, yes, the movie. If you haven't seen the movie Hellboy or the comic. Yes. Hell, okay. Red, yes, that's good. Ronan? Say it again. What? Say it again. The devil guy from Looney Tunes. I didn't really watch the Looney Tunes, so I don't actually. Somebody find me a picture of it so I know what he's talking about. Yes. Okay. Oh, you said that with a little bit of attitude, so I feel like there's some story there. Yes. Evil. Good. Okay, anything else? Maybe from this side? I only got one hand from this side, so some of y'all think over here. Anything else? Yes. Huh? One more time. Somebody repeat it for me. Oh, Palpatine. Emperor Palpatine. Okay, that's good. Why you gotta come for rock music like that? Okay. What else? Yes. Destroyer. Okay. Over here. Somebody. Yes. Chadwick. The devil is school. Okay. All right. Cats. Wow. You really went there. You really just made a lot of enemies in this room. So, like, I just saw a lot of people's eyes just go right at you. So, okay. Cats. What else? Give me a couple more. I don't know. I don't know what you mean, Martin. You're going to really have to think about that one and explain that to me later. Okay, one more. Give me one more. A prowling lion. Okay, these are good. I really like this. So we all have different ideas about what the devil is, who the devil is. If you look at the costumes, you see the little red horns with the pitchfork. I actually don't know where the pitchfork came from, to be honest with you, but that is a thing. Everyone say, hi, Yvonne, bye, Yvonne. Next time, put your phone on Do Not Disturb, but that's okay. Another time. Oh, sorry, I said I wasn't coming for people tonight, so I'll pull that one back. So we have different definitions of the devil. What are some of the names of the devil that you've heard? Okay, that's one. Father of lies, okay. Another one. The enemy, okay, good. Demon, okay. Anything else? Over here. Lucifer, okay, what else? Beast, all right. Anything else? Anyone else? Cool. So there's lots of different names for the devil, lots of different ways of looking at it. So we've got God the Father, then we've got good, we got evil, right? It's Doctor Strange. Everyone's excited about it, I think. So the point of a good superhero movie is what? What's the point of it? Good over evil. Good triumphing over evil. Unless you're watching Infinity War, then it's the opposite. right? Because that, see how I did, see what I did there? Infinity War, evil over good. Yeah, there you go. Thank you. All right. So the whole point of watching hero movies is so that you could watch the good guys win over the bad guys, right? But any good guy needs to know about the bad guy, and it's the same for us in our faith. In fact, even in the Bible, Jesus, when he was teaching people how to pray, when he's teaching his disciples how to pray, in Matthew chapter 6, verses 9 to 13, this is how he started. This is how he said, like, this is how you should pray. Our Father in heaven, you probably heard this prayer before, hallowed be your name, your kingdom come, your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us today our daily bread and forgive us our debts as you have also forgiven our debtors, and lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from the evil one. Okay? So that very last line, deliver us from the evil one. See, even though the disciples taught, or even Jesus taught his disciples how to pray, he taught them about knowing how to be delivered or how to be saved from the evil one. Okay, so even in our faith, as we live our lives as Christians, as Christ's followers, we still need to know who is our enemy. What is he about? How do I defeat him? Okay? And in any good movie, book, story, any good movie, you got to know your enemy. So one of my favorite movies is, in the Marvel universe, is Black Panther. And it's actually not just because of Chadwick Boseman. He's over here, by the way, just in the corner, in the left, to my left, if you want to take a look at him. It's actually because of Michael B. Jordan. I thought he played an incredible villain that, had no godlike powers. He was just somebody on a mission to do something, and he played that evil role. And knowing and understanding his character really helped me really enjoy that movie. But you really got to know your enemy. It's kind of like this. Where are my volunteers? Praise, you were one of them. Caleb, I think you're the other. Who's the other one? Was it you? Was it you? That were the other one with the pool noodles? Yeah, I think it was Marvin. Wow, these ones are on the ball today. You guys are on the ball. Okay, so come up here. It's kind of like this. This is how it is to know your enemies. So you take a seat because I actually don't need you for this. You were just here just in case. Grab those pool noodles. Okay, so Caleb, I'm going to get you stand right over here. Okay. Marvin, you're going to kind of stand over here. Okay? These are like your lightsabers. Okay? But we'll switch it up because, blue is for good, orange is for evil. Okay? All right? You are the good guy. Okay? You are the bad guy. We'll just take a step over here. We don't want to hurt yourselves. So what I would like you to do, just like in any good movie, is fight each other. Okay? So anyone wants to see what? Good triumph over evil, right? For the most part. So who wants Caleb to win? Cheer if you want Caleb to win. Okay, who wants Marvin to win? Yikes. Wow, they really want Marvin to win. Okay, on the count of 3, you're going to start this battle, okay? Ready? Okay, just close your eyes. Both of you close your eyes so that it's fair. Okay, on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3, go. Okay, there you go. Okay. All right, that's good. Thank you. Okay, so how many of you think Marvin won? How many of you think Caleb won? Okay, sorry, Caleb, you did not win. Marvin won. So sometimes, when you don't know your enemy, they have their own tricks, and they come and do what they want to do. And so even though Caleb thought, hey, my enemy is in front of me, my opposition's in front of me, he had no idea that he saw the opposition behind him that came over and completely cut him off, completely didn't allow him to use his hands and fight back because he didn't know his enemy. He didn't know that Marvin had friends. He didn't know that Marvin had somebody that was standing over here. Caleb didn't think before he started to quickly do one of these shoulder checks to see if anyone was behind him, right? You were thinking about it, but you didn't do it. Why? Because you didn't know your enemy. And many times we don't know our enemy. See, Satan knows you must recognize your enemy or you'll be unprepared. See, in war, when you don't know your enemy, you're unprepared. and you don't win your battles. You got to know, how are they going to attack us? So right now, Russia, Ukraine, they're at war. And for Ukraine to know to stand against what Russia's trying to do, they got to know, okay, where are they going to come from? How are they going to attack us? What sides are they going to come in? They got to know how their enemy is going to work. And it's always been the devil's plan to kind of keep us in darkness, keep us isolated, keep us quiet, keep us not knowing, so that we're not prepared. So we're not aware. So we think, hey, I'm just going to attack this thing because I think this is really bad, this is really evil in my life, or this is just evil that exists, but not be fully aware of what's actually happening. And then we kind of get blindsided by our enemy. So here's the kind of the first point I kind of want to make to you right off the bat. So the devil is a fact, not fiction. That's the first thing I want to kind of get that on the table. See, some people just believe that the devil is just a bit of fiction, a cartoon character dressed in red with a pitchfork, with tail, with a tail. Or it can kind of be like that Netflix show, Lucifer. Right? Has anyone seen that show? Or is it just me that knows about it? Okay. It's the same concept. It's the devil is one of God's angels, and he's now the king of hell, living on earth. And there's a show about it, and it makes him look really glamorous. Almost like you want to root for him as the good guy. And so in our world, in our society, our enemy is almost placed in a way that seems like it's not really real. It's just kind of fiction. It's just Hollywood. It's glamorized. It's not important to my life. We'll just view it as entertainment, and I'll just move on with my life. But the truth is, our enemy is very real, and it is a fact. In James chapter 4, verses 7, the Bible says, "So give yourself to God, stand against the devil, and he will run away from you." In Ephesians chapter 4, verses 27 says, "Do not give the devil a foothold." Now, does anyone know what giving a foothold even means? So foothold is kind of like, y'all remember, I don't know if some of you have these doors or have these, you know the chain on the front door, on the inside? Why do we have that? Does anyone know? It's security, yes, I get that, but what is the purpose of it? So you can kind of open your door a little bit, but it's secure, so that the person on the outside cannot do what? Push in. So they can't put their foot, get a foothold in the door, and then get themselves ready to push in. See, that's what the devil does. He takes a foothold, but the Bible says do not give the devil a foothold, because the devil's not happy with just getting his foot in the door. He wants to see your apartment. He wants to know how you live. He wants to get comfortable in your place of business. He wants to sit on your couch, eat your food, live rent-free. That's how he works. So if you give him a little foothold, if you open that door, if you crack it a little bit just to check him out, this ain't no big deal. I'll watch the show, no big deal. This song, no big deal. WAP, that's not that bad. I'll just crack that door a little bit. And you give him that foothold. Well, he's not happy with just keeping his foot in the door and just talking to you from outside. He wants to come in a little bit. He wants to come in more and more. So the devil is patient. He waits for you at your lowest point to attack. That's how the devil works. So what's his personality like? So let me give you some traits of who the devil is. 1, the devil is proud. In 1 Timothy chapter 3, verse 6, it says, "An elder must not be a new believer. He might make himself too proud. Then he would be condemned for his pride, as same as the devil was." So the devil, he's prideful. He's prideful. That's why it says pride comes before the fall. So pride kind of leads us to those places. So the devil, he's proud. He's full of himself. The second thing, he's unrelenting and he's cruel. So in 1 Peter chapter 5, verses 8 to 9 says, "Control yourself and be careful. The devil is your enemy, and he goes around like a roaring lion looking for someone to attack and eat." So I think somebody over here mentioned, the devil's like a roaring lion. So the Bible talks about that, gives us this metaphor, that the devil's like a roaring lion looking for someone to attack and eat. But have you actually thought about that for 2 seconds? Like it's a statement that we all just heard, but have you thought about what that practically looks like? Well, what does a roaring lion waiting for attack and eating look like? I actually know what that looks like because I went on safari a couple of years ago, and I watched for 45 minutes. I sat there watching 2 lions patiently waiting and then attack an animal. But I would actually rather just show you so that you can experience it with me, if that's cool. So throw that clip up for me. It's a nice little cow, bull, I don't know, with a calf. It's a buffalo, sorry, there we go, buffalo. Cow, buffalo, same thing, same family. You know, they're just chilling, doing their thing. And my guys came out of nowhere and attacked. Now, I'll just bring the audio down a little bit, just bring it down. Yeah, so my guy was just trying to chill, you know, do his thing with his little guy, and he gets attacked. And the little guy's there too, looking, paying attention, you know, trying to say, you know, hey, let my mom or dad go. Just doing his thing, not really sure what's happening, while his mom or dad is just not going to make it. And I didn't want to show you. I was kind enough to not show you the rest of it. So there's a 45-minute video of that. So it's interesting, though. Hold on. Track back with me. It's interesting because you oohed and awed and felt that. But yet, in your lives, and sometimes I will say this in my life, we allow the devil that access to us. We walk around and we just do aimlessly while he's waiting patiently to attack. And he comes in and attacks different parts of our lives. He attacks our psyche. You know, hey, you're feeling depressed, just stay at home. No big deal. You're feeling low. You don't need your friends. You don't need anybody to try to encourage you. You're cool. Just stay at home. Stay with your thoughts that tell you that you're nobody, that you don't matter, that you're worthless. Just stay home. He comes in and waits and is patient. And that video, that like where that started, that was 45 minutes before that. By the way, that was not my encounter. My encounter was very different. I just found that so that I could show you. But that was a very long video, and the people filming it had to wait for that to happen. But lions are very, very patient. They will sit there and wait for their prey to drop their guard to its lowest possible point and then come in for the attack. And that's what the Bible says. Our enemy, he goes around like a roaring lion looking for someone to attack and eat. But many times in our lives, we give ourselves that posture where we're not on our guard. We're not paying attention. We are lulled into a fake sense of security. We think we know what we should do. We think we know we don't have to listen to anybody. I don't have to listen to God. I don't have to trust him with my life. I got my own life. I'm doing my own thing. And the enemy just waits patiently until you've lulled yourself into a place where you have a false sense of security, and then he comes in for the kill. So he's unrelenting and he's cruel. And I know you felt bad for those animals, but what the enemy does in your life is worse. He wreaks havoc on your lives, your families, your friends. He does not care. He does not care one little bit about you. Just like that lion did not care about that little bull, cow, whatever it is, okay, buffalo. Didn't care about it. The enemy does not care about your life. He has no sympathy. He has no patience. He has no empathy. He has nothing for you. He just waits for you to be at your lowest and then comes and piles it on. He's unrelenting and he's cruel. He's also deceitful. In Ephesians chapter 6, verses 10 to 11 says, "Be strong in the Lord and his great power. Wear the full armor of God. Wear God's armor so that you can fight against the devil's clever tricks." So he's deceitful. He allows this friend to come and tell you what that friend said. Say, like, oh, did you hear so-and-so said this about you? And then rather than you go talking to that friend to find out if that's the truth, he allows you to feel offended at that person that may have not even said that about you. But this person came and just said, hey, did you hear what this person said about you? Like they're talking ish about you. And sometimes we just fall for that. We believe it. We don't even go and say, hey, did you actually say this about me? We just believe it blindly. He's deceitful. He wants to cause destruction in your life. So he uses different tricks to get us there. He's subtle. 2 Corinthians chapter 11, verses 3 says, "But I'm afraid that your minds will be led away from your true and pure following of Christ. this could happen just as Eve was tricked by that snake with his clever lies. So Adam and Eve in the garden, in the beginning, God tells Adam and Eve, hey, everything is yours. Absolutely everything. I made you perfect. You guys are perfect. You're beautiful. You're amazing. Just don't touch this one tree. Okay? See this tree right here? Off limits. Don't touch it. It's kind of like the red button. See this red button? Don't push it. And then what do we all do? Want to push the red button. So Eve's looking at this tree, saying like, okay, God said I don't touch it, but he didn't say nothing about I can't look at it. So she's looking at it, and then the enemy comes in the form of a snake, like you had mentioned, and whispers to Eve and says, did he really say this? Did he really mean this? Like, are you thinking maybe he meant this and you're thinking this? And gets her to believe something else. He's subtle. He didn't say, oh, God didn't say this or this. He used what Eve was saying to him and got her to think differently to the point where she made the choice independently. The devil didn't say, like, eat the apple or I'm going to kill you. He just subtly tricked her into allowing her to make that decision. Which finally leads to he's a liar. John chapter 8, verse 44 says, there is no truth in him. He likes the lies he tells. Yes, the devil is a liar. He is the father of lies. So that's the devil. That's his personality. Those are his personality traits. Anybody want that in a guy or a girl? In your significant other? Being subtle, being a liar, being deceitful, being unrelenting and cruel, being proud. But sometimes we have these characteristics that exist in us from time to time. When we give ourselves, when we give way to where the enemy wants us to be. See, the devil is the enemy of God and his people. He does not want us to succeed. He does not want you to succeed. He does not want you to prosper. He does not want you to have everything that God has for you. He wants none of it. So he would rather you live with your anxiety, with your depression, with all your problems, and not get any help. The biggest lie, by the way, one of the biggest lies that you could believe is that you don't need help. That's one of the biggest lies. You know, when you hear like, oh, maybe you should go talk to somebody, or you should go see a counselor or see a therapist, a lot of us kind of go, I don't want to do that. That means something's wrong with me. There's nothing wrong with me. I shouldn't have to go pay somebody to talk to somebody. That's the biggest lie that we believe for ourselves. By the way, yes, John does counseling. Yes, John has a counselor. He has a therapist that he talks to, that he works some of his stuff out with. Because I don't think that I'm that good, to be honest with you. I think I'm weak. I think that I could fall to a lot of the enemy's tricks and traps. So I want to be in a better place where I'm not just swinging away and not being aware of my surroundings around me. But that's one of the lies. That's one of the lies that we believe. We think that we can do everything on our own, but he's the enemy of us and God's people. Or of God, sorry. So what's his position and what's his authority? So that's his personality. What kind of power does he have? You're probably sitting there like, well, Johnny's the devil, you know, yeah, he's from hell and father of lies, all that kind of stuff like that. What's his power? What's his abilities, right? What's his biography on that? So Satan, devil, was known by a different name, and I think somebody said it here, Lucifer. And Lucifer was an angel of the Lord at one point. So before he became the devil, before he fell and kind of corrupted himself, he was actually one of God's archangels. Just like Michael and Gabriel, archangels are beings that speak on behalf of God. They come as messengers to humanity. When you read the Bible, you know, Gabriel came and spoke to Mary and said like, hey, you're going to have a son. His name's going to be Jesus. Many archangels have come and spoken and been part of, or spoken on God's behalf. And at one time, Lucifer was considered the son of the morning. He was one of the most glorious angels in heaven. He was actually, his job description was the worship leader. Like, he was the guy in charge of music. The Bible describes him as lovely and amazing. But then the Bible also describes what happened to him. In Isaiah chapter 14, verses 12 to 14, it says, how you are fallen from heaven, or how you have fallen from heaven, or Lucifer, son of the morning, how you are cut down to the ground. you who weakened the nations, for you have said in your heart, I will ascend into heaven. I will exalt my throne above the stars of God. I will also sit on the mount of the congregation on the farthest side of the north. I will ascend above the heights of the cloud. I will be like the Most High. That was where it started for him. He wanted to be God. He wanted to be more than God. His pride lifted him above what he believed he was worth. Remember, God had described him as beautiful, as amazing. He was the worshiper. He was in charge of this. And Lucifer held himself in such high regard that he didn't believe that humanity was worth bowing down to or being equal to. God said, these are my children. And Lucifer's like, no, they're nobodies. They're lesser beings. And I am a God myself. And that's where we see this disconnect from God. And so God casts him out of heaven, casts him into the lowest places, which we call hell, a separation from God. And he takes 1/3 of the angels with him, angels who rebelled against who God was. They got corrupted. They were prideful. They believed in the lies that Lucifer was saying. And Ephesians chapter 6, verses 12 describes his power. If you can put that for me, it says, for our struggle is not against flesh and blood, but against the rulers, against the authorities, against the powers of this dark world, and against the spiritual forces of evil in the heavenly realms. See, the battle may be within us, but it's never between us. See, many times we want to fight each other. You think Russia and Ukraine is really about Russia and Ukraine? It's not. It's about pride. Pride in one man's heart to say that I deserve this territory, and they cannot separate from Mother Russia, so we need to go and get it back. Pride. It's what started all the world wars. Pride. It's what a country leaves from one country and says, no, we are not satisfied with where we are, we need more. So let's go conquer for the next few years. Pride. It's never about one or the other. It's always about within. And even though the devil works this way, he isn't omnipotent. Or how do I say that word? Omniscient? My Sri Lankan accent's threatening to pop out, so I'm trying to avoid it. So say it for me. Somebody say it for me. Omniscient. Anyone give me the definition? Oh, one person, please. All-powerful. Becky's like, no. Give me the definition. There is another one. All-knowing, omniscient. Okay? What's the other ones? There's two more. Omnipotent. Now say it. What you said. There you go. Okay? And the other one? Omnipresent, which means everywhere at all times. Okay? That is who God is. He is all-powerful, all-knowing, and in all places. As God, as the creator, that's who he is. He created us, he created time, he created the world, he created a universe. He gets to exist in all parts. Lucifer, the devil, our enemy, is a created being like you and me. Now, he may have been an angel, and he may be the father of hell and father of lies, but he's still a created being, which means he isn't all-powerful, he isn't all-knowing, and he isn't in all places. Now, does he have his 1/3 angels, his demonic army that works with him and for him? Yes, just like I said, you got to know your enemy. And they can work and move and do his bidding on his behalf. But he isn't all-powerful, he isn't all-knowing, and he isn't all over the place in every spot. But he does whisper to us, he does encourage us to act in prideful ways, in evil ways. So our enemy really isn't each other. It isn't political systems. Dare I say it isn't even a systemic issue. That's not, the devil wants us to focus there. That's where he wants us to be. He wants us to be us fighting each other. And he's looking and saying, like, why don't I, it's efficient, why don't I get you guys to do my work for me? If you guys fight each other, you're pissed at each other, you're mad at each other, you guys will hate each other, you get pride in your heart, you get evil in your heart, my work's done. And he can just sit back and relax. and not worry about having to keep whispering to you and keep telling you to, be lonely and this and hate this person and hate that person. And many times we act in this way. So what's his purpose? What's he trying to do? So the devil's ambition is to pull God from his throne, to literally overthrow God, to rebel against him. That's his primary goal. I would encourage you to read and write this reference down, Ezekiel chapter 28, verses 11 to 19. If you write that reference down, it's in the Old Testament. It's a very, very good portion of understanding who the devil is, who our enemy is. And I would encourage you to read that. But the devil deceives and brings utter chaos. It's been like that from the beginning, since Adam and Eve, when he deceived Eve, and it's been like that since now. It was even in the time of Jesus. That's why Jesus said in John chapter 8, verses 44, he says, throw that slide up for me. It says, your father is the devil. You belong to him. You want to do what he wants. He was a murderer from the beginning. He was always against the truth. There is no truth in him. He likes to tell the lies he tells. Yes, the devil is a liar. He is the father of lies. This is Jesus talking to Pharisees. Pharisees were Christian Jewish leaders at the time. They were supposed to be the people who knew God and were serving God. And they were working with pride in their heart. They were working with evil intentions in their heart. And so Jesus looked at them and said, your father right now is the devil. That's who you're serving. That's who you are working for. And in these two verses, Jesus tells us two things. The devil's motive is to murder, and his method is lying. He deceives us, he destroys us, and he condemns us to that place. But that's why the Bible teaches us in Ephesians chapter 6, verse 11, it says, put on the whole armor of God, that you may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil. That's an old term, wiles. It's an English term. Jenny here? Jenny, is that an English term, wiles? W-I-L-E-S? It's in the King James. Okay. So I looked that word up because I'm like, what the heck is a wile? Like, what's the wiles of the devil? What does that even mean? And it literally translates to methodology, method. Like I told you, the devil is patient. He's got methods and he's willing to wait. He's willing to kind of work through it. So he's methodical and he's willing to kind of just be patient. He's willing to do his thing. And he'll let you succeed. He even might let you fall further. He'll even let you get away with sin just so that he can entrap you later. So he might let you get away with watching pornography. You might not feel that bad. You might be like, oh, it's no big deal. Like, it's just a Netflix show, John. Like, it's not that big. Like, yeah, like I see things, like, no big deal. But then you take that habit and it builds and becomes something bigger and bigger. You get into a relationship and now you're like, I don't even know how to be in a relationship because my ideology of what I think is right is gone because you've watched so much, it's completely changed. And now this person doesn't match what you have put inside of yourself. And so you leave that situation to find something else that can satisfy what you thought was no big deal. And ultimately, you destroy your relationship with that person because you step out on them. You cheat. Where do you think cheating really comes from? It comes from lack of trust with another person because you can't trust them with your business. You can't trust them with what you're going through, you're struggling with. The enemy always lies. He always tells you that your business nobody will get. They're going to judge you for it. Don't tell nobody else, right? Don't tell your partner. Don't go to, you can go to this girl, though. She'll get it. She'll understand you. She'll love you. So the devil's even willing to let you commit some sin that isn't that big of a deal until it entraps you later. John, it's not that big of a deal it's just one bump, bro. Like, I'm not going to become a drug addict. It's just one hit. Like, it's not that serious. It's one party, John. I'm only going to it like once a month. No big deal. It's one hit. One hit becomes 2, 3, 4. Becomes a habit. All of a sudden, you are stuck in a pattern that you chose and you cannot get yourself out of. And you feel like that's the only thing that you can ever have. Every time you want to get out of it, it pulls you back in. It's the only thing you can ever have. You want to know how cunning the devil is? How manipulative he is? GP, you missed your cue, so I'm going to get you to play it. GP was supposed to just hit play this, but it's okay. We're gonna work with it here. Sing with me if you know the lyrics. Sing it louder. Okay, good. Is it gonna play again? It's gonna go again? Here we go. Sing it loud, 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 loud. There you go. Sing it louder, louder so I can hear it. Come on. I know you know it, Camilla. Come on. All right, thank you. That's good. That's good. That's good. How about we change it up? How about we change it up? Play me the other track, not the Bieber one, the other one. And if you know the lyrics, you have to sing it, okay? That's the promise you have to make me. Okay? Go ahead, play me the other one. Oh, technical difficulties. Is it on Spotify? Was it on Spotify that you pulled it? It's on Spotify. Rashawn pulled it to Spotify. You got it? GP's gonna assist with helping. Oh yeah, turn it up. Okay, if you know the lyrics, sing it. Okay, go ahead. There we go. Come on. I'm just waiting for you guys to get to the chorus. Yeah, sing it right here, you guys, louder. Anthony, why you look so confused? You know the song. Now all of you sing it right here. Don't do this part. Don't do that part. All right, good. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Everyone have fun? Good, good. When was the last time you heard Incy Wincy Spider? Anyone? Years? Years, decades, right? And when did Party in the USA come out? 2012? 2012. No, I'm assuming most of you were born by then. 2012, so that's almost 10 years ago, right? 10 years ago. It's actually 10 years ago. It's crazy. Most of you remembered the lyrics. You just heard the tune. 10 years of a song, you heard the tune and you knew the lyrics. Even a nursery rhyme, you heard the tune and again, could be decades for you and you knew the lyrics. But if I were to ask you to tell me what I said last week in a sermon. Last week was games night. You're right. You're right. You got me. You got me. But tell me one thing verbatim I said last week, because I was up here and I talked a lot. Beats you. I definitely did not say that. Okay? Okay, let's change it up. Let's change it up. What was my opening line from just 20 minutes ago? It's crazy, as Rio would say. This is, track with me, this is how powerful, or how cunning, not powerful, cunning the devil is. Because remember, he was the worship leader in heaven. He was in charge of music in heaven. So he knows that if I can just give you a tune and put some lyrics behind it, and if the tune comes back, you've hidden those words in your heart, and you can pull it out, just like that. 10 years ago, you can pull out a song about moving my hips like, yeah. I'm partying in the USA. Y'all are Canadian. What's wrong with y'all? But tell me how that's going to save your life. Anybody? Partying in the USA. Can anyone tell me how that's going to save your life? But why is it so hard for us to hide truth in our hearts, for when circumstances come, we can bring that out? But all of a sudden, a tune pops in our head. Boom, we know the lyrics. Because none of you spent time listening and learning those lyrics, did you? Like an exam. You just heard the tune and it just came to your memory. That is how cunning the devil works. That's why music is so utterly laced with the things that it's laced with. Because if it can get you to whop it up and just believe that this is how you should treat women, if WAP is the standard of how you should treat women, men, I'm looking at you, then the devil wins. Because he's like, you're going to do it anyway. You're going to do all the things that I want you to do. And I just got to get you to listen to some music. I got to just throw some inspiration at some rappers, at some artists. It's no big deal. We would rather support, let's be real, Drake, than somebody who is trying to be an up-and-coming artist. Right? Because Drake's cool, right? Or it would give us some clout to share it. This is how cunning the devil works. He's willing to work and be patient and get his message across, which is, you are not worth it. Who you are does not matter. How you were made matters not. You want to be something? Girls, this is it. Be this. Guys, this is it. Be this. Be dogs, guys, because that's what women want. And that's how the enemy gets in and is patient, is cunning, is like a lion that's waiting in the bush for you to put your guard down and just comes in and attacks. And that's why many times, and now I promised I said I wasn't going to come in your business, but I'm lying, so I'm going to come in your business a little bit. But that's why it's so easy to snap, hook up or pass, or send the pics and expect that they'll send you a pic back. Because it's but that's just what everyone does, John. Who set the standard for you then? Who told you that that's what everyone does? Who told you, guys, that that's what women want? Your dick pic in their phones. Who told you that you could just go up to a girl and just hold their hand and expect that that was okay without asking? The devil is a liar. That's what he is. That's what he always is. That's what he always was. And that's how he works. He gets you to believe that you're just not worth it, that you don't matter, that your standards should just stay here, that it should never be here, that you should never expect good things, that you should never raise the bar for yourself, that when you experience tragedy and when life sucks, that you shouldn't still expect good things to happen. That's what the devil wants you to believe. He wants you to believe that you deserve garbage and crap. So then you'll stay there. And you'll never live up to your potential. That's what he wants. That's the biggest thing he does not want you to do. Live up to your potential. Go for your purpose. And a lot of you have different purposes. It's not the same. The one equal purpose you all have is to be Christ's followers. That's what Jesus is calling us to. He just gives us different passions. Right? Becky's passion is totally different than mine. Becky's ultra passionate about education. I'm not. I could care less about school, to be honest with you. I did it for my parents. I have 2 degrees. I did it for my parents. That's it. That's all I did it for. I learned everything that I do, I've learned on my own. I've learned by just doing. That's just how I've learned. But Becky's ultra passionate about education. That's the passion that she was gifted with. The commonality that Becky and I share is what? What's the one thing we for sure have in common? Oh, come on, you know the answer to this. We both love Jesus. So the passions are different. I care about cars. She does not. Right? GP and Becky are married. GP cares about Nerf guns. Right? And putting sights on them. Like taking it real serious. Don't you have a gold one too? Yeah, he's got a gold one. Becky does not care about that. I think you don't care about that. No. But we all have different passions. But when we find our purpose as Christ followers, loving Jesus and allowing the passions to come alive inside of us, well, then we start to step up. That's when tragedy happens, when things come against us. It does not define us. It builds us. It doesn't break us. It keeps us going. But if you don't know your enemy, then he comes in and he, like a thief, steals it. Like a lion attacks when you're at your lowest. And that's why, as what seems like a powerful adversary is actually not that powerful. Because on the winning side, we've got it all. We've got it all. We've got endgame level Avengers on our side and more. Because God already won. So when we tap into his power, that's what a lot of these verses say, stand firm in God, stick with him, build yourself in him, put on the full armor of God so that you can withstand the attacks of the enemy. So as long as we know who our enemy is, we can be prepared for battle. We can put the right tools around us, hide truth in our hearts, have good people around us that can speak life into us, that can call us up to the higher standards when we're feeling super low. That's what it takes to know your enemy, but to know that your enemy has no control of your life. One of my favorite things I love to say to myself is, the devil is a liar. I say it out loud a lot of the times because I'm confessing that the devil really has no true power. He's just a liar. He's just a manipulator. And when I say it out loud, I already know I'm winning because I'm putting all my tools, all my hope on what God has already done for me. When Jesus went, died on the cross, defeated sin, defeated death, he already took all that power away from him, from the devil. So that all he's got is lies. All he's got is to keep telling you not to believe that Jesus got your back. They're not telling you to keep going. Just stay where you are. It's okay. Enjoy your misery. That's why misery loves company. That's why it's easy to be miserable and negative than it is to be positive, right? I think COVID taught almost all of us that. But I'm telling you, when you know your enemy, you start to realize that there really is no power in that. I know you guys are like, where'd the music come from? Because there's no piano player. That would be GP up there. The enemy really has no true power. He comes off powerful, but at the end of the day, he's exactly what Yvonne said, a snake. He's just a liar. And he's the father of lies. And if you're willing to know that, and you're willing to trust God, and you're willing to put yourself under the care of God, surrounded with good people that can call you up, no matter what comes your way, you're winning every time, every single day. So that's why for me, when I started the business 2 years ago in February of 2020, and then everything shuts down March 2020, and I look at it and say like, oh my gosh, this is a huge stumbling block. What am I going to do? Maybe I'm not built for this. Maybe I'm not meant to do this on my own. Maybe I need to just get a job. Maybe I'm not built for any of this. And as soon as those words came out of my mouth, the very next thing for me was, the devil is a liar. Because those are not the thoughts that God thinks of me. That's not how he built me. That's not what he's called me to be. He gave me this idea. He gave me the tools and the resources to push for the business. And just because I experienced a setback doesn't mean that my worth is any less. So I got to trust him more than I trust my circumstances. So I had to push for what God was doing inside of me. And then 2 years later, I've made the most money I've ever made in my life in the middle of COVID, in the middle of doing it on my own. And I'm honestly saying that, I stand here saying that I love God because almost every single piece of business I have ever touched has come from him, has come from his resources, has come from his connections, has come from him helping me believe in who I am and the way he's made me. So, we're going to spend a few weeks learning, understanding who the devil is, but as you learn about who our enemy is, on the other side, I really want you to know about who God is and who he is and how he actually comes in and helps us and supports us. Yeah, good and evil, that exists. That tension's always going to be there. But at the end of this journey in life, God's already saying in his story, he's already saying that we won. You won. You have it all. It's just you just have to decide you want it. You're willing to take it and not willing to let the enemy have any of that back. Because he wants to take it all back from you. He wants your purpose. He wants you to not believe in yourself. But I'm looking at every single one of you saying that God's got something incredible for all of you. are you willing to trust him and are willing to pick up what he's put in front of you? And call out an enemy as what he is, father of lies, a liar. So I don't like to give him credit, but I like to put him on blast because I want people to know who he is so they know they have nothing to fear because God's already won. God's already taken care of you. And the tools he uses, they're just weak tools. And God's saying that I've given you way more to combat. So that's why I want to encourage you to crack open your Bible if you got a physical one. If you're a phone person, great. But I'm actually going to encourage you to do physical. I'm a little bit old school, but I think there's something beautiful about being able to open up a physical book and read it. I know some of you are like, I don't want to read anymore. Trust me, if there's one book that can save your life, it's the Bible. It's the only book that matters to me, to be honest with you. It's the only thing that I bet my life on. And I'm not necessarily a betting man, but it's the only thing I do bet my life on, is his word. Because every piece of truth in his word helps me combat the lies of the enemy, combat the misinformation that's out there. For every person that tells me that I'm not worth it, I've got a good God that tells me I'm absolutely worth it. And that's what he's saying about you. So, this is just week 1. We got a couple more weeks of this. And it's going to look a little bit different, and we're going to navigate some of these things. But if you got questions, and you got heavy questions, I don't want you to be afraid. Ask them. I want you to ask them. Because I want you to know, I want you to be prepared. Because we are in a battle. It's not a battle against you and me. It's a spiritual battle. It's a battle of our mind, of our souls. And God's already saying that I won, but are you willing to be on the winning side of this? When it seems hopeless, are you still willing to stick in the place where God can actually win for you? So I'm going to pray, and then we'll break off into our groups, and you get quite a bit of time here, about 40 minutes or so. So I want you to ask good questions. And leaders, if you got questions that you're just like, I don't got the answers to them, take them down. I'll be happy to answer them for you, okay? But I want you to navigate this. I want you to talk about this. I want you to tackle this. Because the more you expose an enemy, the more you start to see the weakness and the cracks in what seems like a solid battle plan on their part, but really isn't. And so that's what I really love about this topic, because it helps us expose something so that we can actually win on the other side. All right? So let me pray for you. Father, I thank you, God, for who you are. I thank you, God, that you're good. And I thank you, Lord, that you've given us all the tools, God, to win in life.